Okay, welcome back. Time to continue with the Black Ops Machariel. Yesterday something quite hilarious had happened to me. I woke up, I logged in, and I noticed my DPS being quite low on this ship. Then I checked out the rigs and I was shocked when I saw all of my tier 4 rigs missing. Turns out that there is a rare bug, or should I say there was a rare bug that's patched now, that could make you lose your rigs when you log out. Thankfully I got all of them back from the customer support, and now the Machariel has the rigs installed back. But let me tell you, I got really scared. I did not know what happened, but thankfully everything got solved. And with that being said, let's undock and let's have some fun with this monster of a ship. The Machariel with DPS is actually quite comparable to my Revelation now. 17,000 DPS on the Machariel and about 30,000 DPS on the Revelation using the same build, which is interesting. Cannot wait to see the balance patch in the next week or in the next 2 weeks. Now the first target for today we have a Machariel. Surprisingly, we have 3 Machariels on grid. The Machariel became a very popular battleship, especially after implants were released. Okay, barrage implant enabled, gyro stabilizers enabled. The Machariel is now into low armor. And now the Machariel is into hull, and the Machariel got yeeted. That was nice. Nice and quick. Although I kind of wish that I use the quad gyro stabilizer build a lot more often.
Warp drive active.
With the quad gyro stabilizers, I'm able to deliver a lot more damage, but the cloaking device is also very important. Especially if like 80% of the game wants you dead, you have to have the cloaking device, because there's always a chance that there's going to be a lot of ships after you. 4.3 billion. Not bad, solid kill. This Machariel was using dual boosters. I start to see the dual shield booster build a lot more often lately. Not really sure. Not really sure why. And we have a Venture. I got a deja vu feeling. Last time it was a Venture 2, now it's a classic Venture. Probably also a PvP one. Now we have 2 Dominic's battleships inside of a mission, but they warped out by the time that we landed here, so now we have to be a little bit patient and we have to wait for them to warp back to the mission.
Fleet warp.
Warp drive active.
Okay, we are now warping to the next planet. The next planet offers a better warping because they warp to the station and then they warp back to the mission. They are snipers. Tier 9 Dominic's battleships, 2 of them. Just have to nail the right warping. Okay, this should do for now. They are located around that position in space. So I align myself and I think we are about to fleet warp. Now I have 1 scrambler and triple webs. I usually use that medium slot setup when we have a lot of points in fleet. That way, in case we get jumped by a small ship, I can slow it down enough for us to be able to hit it. Basically, every member in your fleet has their own role, and in this case, my role is to slow down small ships, in case there is a small ship. Teamwork always pays off in the end. Now I thought about buying a second Machariel that I'm not going to be worried losing, because this Machariel, I've had this ship for 3 years and it's one of the oldest ships that's still alive, so it would be a shame if it would go down. But for now, I don't have a second Machariel. I only have this one and I plan to fly it. But we will see how long it will live. Okay, we are going towards the location. It's been a while since those ships actually returned to the mission, but here they are, dual Dominics, tier 9 battleships. One of them already going down. My job here is to tackle the second one. Second one tackled. First Dominics exploded. And the second Dominics also exploded. Very nice. 2 battleships popped within 10 seconds. I love it. And I had to change the build into triple scramblers just because
we're under attack.
Just because we were unsure if we could hold both of them with the previous
Warp
setup.
drive active.
Okay, let's warp out and let's take a look at the kills. I have about 920 drones in one of my stations. Not really sure how I'll sell that. I'm afraid that I'd crash the market. I have so many drones. I haven't been selling my loot for a while. Whoops. Almost dropped my microphone here. 1.2 billion, unfortunately the most expensive stuff did not drop. And 820 million second Dominics, a little bit cheaper, but interesting. Okay. Both were similarly built, although the first one had more expensive modules. Very sad that the nest form drone damage amplifiers did not drop. They are quite expensive. I have a bunch of them that I have to sell. I have a lot of loot that I need to sell. Okay, next target we have a Apocalypse Striker. They have been tackled. They're trying to shoot the Stratios, but that's not going to work with beam lasers at this range. Gyro Stabber is enabled, overheated, and the Apocalypse got destroyed. Always risky, always super risky to tackle the Apocalypse Striker. Those things are dangerous. Even for a DPS Machariel that is built to withstand the Apocalypse Striker, those things can still kill you very easily.
Warp drive active.
I fly one of these ships and I love it. But at the same time, I really don't like fighting them. They are honestly very scary ships. The Apocalypse might be one of the most respected battleships in the game at the moment. They track, even if you are moving at high velocities, they can still hit you. I learned that the hard way. The Machariel also in the similar way can track, but I feel like the Apocalypse is a bit more lethal on the tracking part. Okay, 2.7 billion, not bad. Beam lasers, DPS, full range, no propulsion module, and they had warp core stabs. Overall, a solid build. Next we have one Tempest. This time I swap back to the quad gyro stabilizer build because I will be engaging this Tempest solo.
Warp drive active.
They're roughly around 0, so I hope that I land within scrambler range. Okay, there is the Tempest. Yeah, they're literally on 0. Okay, let's focus fire. Barrage on. Gyro stabilizer is overheated. Approaching to 11 kilometers. Scrambled, webbed, drones out. Full DPS unleashed on the Tempest. They are now into hull, and now the Tempest is destroyed. Nice.
We're under attack.
It feels like they had a shield tank, and also feels like I messed up with the general units. I wasn't 17,000 DPS for sure. Felt like 8,000 DPS. I think I messed up with
Warp drive
the
active.
general units. I know that I did tamper with them because I tried to do some magic for tank, so probably haven't switched back. 656 million, overall a decent kill. Now I'll warp here and I will wait out the criminal timer. Okay, now we have something interesting here. We have one Balgorn and one Raven Striker inside of a mission. Well, it's yeeting time. Always a good day when you have a Balgorn served on the plate. I love the Balgorn, but you know what I like even more? Do you know what I love even more? I love to shoot a Balgorn. So let's go and let's yeet. Okay, warping, they are about at around 0, so
Warp drive active.
I hope that I nailed the warping. It also looks like they are finishing up with the mission. Okay. Hopefully the Machariel fleet has enough speed to get there on time. In moments like these, I actually wish to improve the warp speed on this ship, because I would arrive at the location a lot faster, but we will see. Not really sure if I feel like dumping the tier 4 rigs. I have tier 4 warp core stabs on this thing. Okay, the Balgorn is yeeted. Nice, very nice. And let's yeet the Raven Striker. That was a beautiful faction Battleship explosion, of course. The Raven Striker warped and scrambled. Gyro stabilizer is overheated. And the implant is active. The Raven Striker, as always, has a pretty good shield, but two barrage Machariels that are built for full yeet DPS, yeah, that's not going to last for a very long time. And the Raven Striker is destroyed. I forgot to speak for a second. Okay. And let's warp out. Two very juicy battleships yeeted, just like that.
Warp drive active.
I think I also have the cloaking device. I have 6.2 billion Machariel, 6.2 billion Balgorn kill, and a 2.2 billion Raven Striker. Overall solid ships and solid builds. I've started to see a lot of shield tank Balgorns lately, not really sure why, because the armor tank I think still kind of works a little bit better, although they're quite similar. I tested them out. I like both, but I feel like on the Balgorn the armor tank is the way to go, but I guess the shield tank works as well. As long as it's a good shield tank, it should work, because after all it's a Blood Raider ship and they can, surprisingly, they can do both armor and shield. So that's one of the only ships that can, one of the only faction ships that do that really well. Okay, what do we have here? We have one Raven. Okay, let's approach and tackle the Raven. The Raven already pointed, so my Scrambler will not be needed, hopefully, but you know, in any case, let's just apply the webs and the Scrambler. The Raven is shooting at my friends. Usually it's the other way around. Usually they do target me first. Not really sure why, but even when I land the second, I get primaried. And I find that quite hilarious. Although my friends have faster ships in most
Warp
cases.
drive active.
But the target usually goes after me. Just like that Vindicator from one of the previous Machariel videos that I made. They went straight for me. For my drones, to be more accurate. And somehow the drones survived. Not really sure how, but it happens. There's a lot of weird things that happen in the game that's very hard to explain. Sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I really do wonder. Okay, let's take a look at the kill. 709 million. Overall, a decent kill. Decent tank on the Raven. Overall, a solid Raven build. Okay. Preparing to go to the next target.
Fleet warp.
Okay, they have been located at that position in space. Looks like my ship will turn around a little late, but I should still
Warp drive
arrive at
active.
about the same time. We have one Armageddon 2. We had one Armageddon 2. They warped out. Oh well, sometimes you catch them, sometimes you miss them. They aligned before we actually entered warp. So by the time we landed, they had enough time to quickly warp out, which is okay, it happens. So now we have to play smart if we want to catch that Armageddon. So we usually
Warp
have
drive active.
tactics, ideas, plans in case something like this happens, and we usually kick that plan right in once needed. So we are going to do just that. Okay, we are in position, and now we play the good old waiting game. Warping to planet 6. The Armageddon has swapped to a Vindicator, which is an even more juicier target, so even more of the crew woke up. Everyone wants a piece of a Vindicator. I mean, let's just be real here. Imagine if you see a ping on Discord that there is a Bargus tackled. I think most would drop what they were doing and they would log in just to get a piece of that ship. And that happened in our case. That literally happened in our case. When we found the first Bargus, when we tackled the first Bargus that I recorded a while ago, one of the first Machariel videos, everyone dropped what they were doing and all of them logged in and everyone rushed to get that Bargus. And most of them did arrive on time. Which is something that makes Eve very special. It makes this game very special. And moments like these are truly unique. Not many other games do that, honestly. You won't have players drop the stuff that they're doing in real life just to log in to kill something and then to log out back to continue what they were doing in real life. Not many games do that nowadays. Eve is one of them. And just like the PC version of the game, this game does it as well. And I'm really happy that the most valuable aspects of Eve are preserved in this game. It feels the same and I love it. Okay, the Vindicator is now back in mission. We were waiting for quite a while here. The Vindicator did play the warp in, warp out game, but the trap is set in place, so we know the Vindicator's tactic, and all we have to do is warp in and tackle. We will know when the Vindicator is in warp and from which location they will warp to the mission. So we will land right on top of them. Should happen any moment. We're all aligned towards the mission. Should be a very nice fleet warp. Approach at 6 kilometers, just in case.
Fleet warp.
Warp drive
And we are warping. Let's yeet. This Machariel for some reason is a Barghest magnet. We missed one Barghest a while ago because other players scared it, unfortunately. Okay, there's the Vindicator. The Vindicator already tackled. We landed basically at the same time as the Vindicator, so they're not going to go anywhere. Okay, gyro stabber is enabled. The Vindicator now into armor. Scrambled and webbed, and the Vindicator is destroyed. You know, I'm surprised that this ship went down so quickly. This Vindicator didn't tank a lot of damage at all. Usually a Vindicator can be built to be tanky, about the same tankiness as a tank Balgorn, just without the capacitor stability. But this Vindicator didn't last long at all. Let's take a look at the kill. 4.4 billion, it was a long range build. What is this? 5 tracking computers, a lot of warp core stabs, and a aura warp core stabilizer. Well, that explains why this ship went down so quickly. Okay, let's wait out the criminal timer and let's cloak. That was a very solid kill, a very solid kill. Okay, next target we have a Phantasm. Now, to date, I still haven't had the chance to test out the tank on this build, and I really like the passive shield tank build on the Machariel. It is really tanky. I just never had a good chance to get jumped and to test it out. Well, this Phantasm is going down quite rapidly. They have been webbed and scrambled. The Phantasm is using a large shield booster. However, that's not going to be enough to withstand the damage of a Machariel. And the Phantasm is now into very low hull. And the Phantasm is destroyed. And based on the amount of Concord missions that I've done with that one kill, that should be a pretty tasty Phantasm. We were about to see that. Let me just return back to the original position and let's take a look at this. 1.2 billion, a decent build, dual capacitor batteries, dual webs, a PvP Phantasm. I like the Phantasm with the dual capacitor batteries. My friend had a Phantasm that had dual large shield boosters. That thing was tanky. That thing was really tanky, a really good build. Next we have a Vexor Modified. A very suspicious Vexor Modified. Seems like they have a micro warp drive and... well, they're destroyed in any case. That was a very easy kill. Okay, let me return back to the original position. 68 million overall. Actually a solid PvP build. Interesting. That's a very interesting build on that ship. Next we have a Omen modified. I suspect that this Omen is also a PvP build, but we will find out that very soon and very quickly. The Omen has been destroyed. Let's take a look at the kill. $67. Okay, that's yeah, let's not look at that kill. Okay, next target we have a rock. We are warping towards the target. Surprisingly, this rock is not aligned. Usually when there is a sniper battleship, they usually would align themselves, but for some reason this ship is just sitting there, and well, should be a pretty easy target. We will see what will happen. Okay, there is the rock. They have some faction drones there. Okay, might be one very expensive rock. We will find out very soon. Okay, barrage enabled. I turned on the gyro stabilizers a little bit too early, so I wasted a couple seconds there. I usually do that because I forget that I have a clocking device.
Enemy ships detected.
So the lock-on does take a while with the clocking device on the Machariel. Well, that was a solid kill and a solid, big, beautiful explosion as usual. Let's warp to the asteroid belt
Warp
and
drive active.
let's cloak to wait out the criminal timer. But first, let me land and let me actually show you the kill. Okay, let's align in space, let's cloak, and now the Machariel will vanish for 10 minutes. Very nice safety option. Okay, 2.7 billion, nice high slot drops. Unfortunately, the most expensive items did not drop, so yeah, but this rock had a lot of stabs, 12 plus stabs on that ship. Alright, well, this was a very nice little Machariel roam. We had some really nice targets as usual. With the Machariel I usually aim to record big ships, because when I fly the Machariel the target is usually a big ship. But in any case, hope that you enjoyed, stay safe, fly safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.